Hello. I, at age 62, decided to sell my farm because I live here alone and my health is not good enough anymore to keep up with all the work here. I have 4 kids, let's call them Jake, Jennifer, Julia, and Marcus, made up the names for privacy, 3 from my first marriage who are all over 30, and 1 from my second marriage who is 20 and in university. The first 3 kids grew up on the said farm, and my eldest son Jake still visits me to help with heavier work like making firewood. Jake has a house, wife, and kids, so I don't want to inconvenience him too much. Girls live in the city and also both have a family. My marriage with my second wife was quite short, and after we divorced when Marcus was 7 and she got the main custody, I ended up as the weekend father. Marcus was never interested in farm work, machines, or horses. He was the only one who did not have his own horse, as he just did not care about it. So most weekends he played with the computer and slept through half the day. The girls have helped me a lot too. Our little tradition is spring works, where we clean up the farm, paint what is needed, and then have a bonfire after. We grill and hang out. The only kid who never takes part in it is Marcus, and last weekend when we did, it was no different. This is the event where I told my kids my plans to sell, and they supported the idea, as we might as well continue this tradition at Jake's place. As Marcus was not here, I called him and told him my plan to sell. He was surprised and told me that he actually thought he would get the farm as he was going to get horses with his girlfriend, and I just had to wait a few years after he was done with university and has a job. I explained to him that my health is not good enough to keep the house up for X amount of years until he could maybe buy it, as I can't just give it to him either. I offered him I could gift him the money for the down payment, as I do love all my kids, and an apartment in the city is cheaper than the farm. And my plan was to split the rest of the money between the kids. Now Marcus is really mad at me because he hoped I would sell it for a better price, as farms that actually have stables and paddocks are very expensive and keep getting expensive every year, so the money for a down payment might not be enough in a few years. I kind of pissed him off by telling him that I don't believe that he understands how much work keeping up a farm is, as he has been a city kid his whole life. He has not once even mowed the lawn. Imagine making hay and stuff. Yesterday, I got a call from my ex who asked why I am discriminating against my kids, as I supposedly never gave that much attention to Marcus as to others. And I am in jerk for selling the farm, as I should give it to Marcus. Which is kind of true, as the only way to spend more time with him when he was a teenager would have been to join him via computer probably. The problem is, where would I live? Would I be the idiot? Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1, not the idiot. Why would any one kid think he is entitled to more than the other 3, when literally none of them earned any of your assets, much less the one kid who has no clue about farming? Sell, market value, and use the money to take care of your own needs, which could actually end up being substantial. No one knows. Whatever is left could be divided equally if you like. But pick your executor wisely, aka not the youngest. The assets are yours to distribute as you wish. Comment 2, not the idiot. They are gaslighting you by saying discrimination. In reality, they want special treatment above all the other kids. It's your farm. You do what you want with it, and with the money you get from it. You offered to split it, which is fair. It sounds like he is just saying this because his girlfriend is interested, not himself. Who knows if they will even be together? You shouldn't risk more of your health trying to keep up with the farm. Now for the update. Hey everyone, thanks for reading my last post and for all the support and advice you gave me. It really means a lot. So it's been a couple of weeks since I told my kids about my plan to sell the farm. Things have been pretty tense, especially with Marcus. He's still really upset that I won't just give him the farm and wait until he's ready to take it over. I've tried explaining to him again that my health just isn't good enough to keep the place running for who knows how many years, but he doesn't seem to want to hear it. Last week, Marcus showed up at the farm unannounced with his girlfriend. I was surprised to see him, as he rarely visits unless I specifically ask him to. They started walking around the property, talking about all the changes they would make and how they'd set up the stables for their horses. It was like they were already planning their life here without even considering that I had already made the decision to sell. I tried to talk to Marcus again, but he just got angry and accused me of not caring about his dreams. His girlfriend chimed in, saying that I was being selfish and that I should think about Marcus's future. I was taken aback by her involvement, as she's never shown any interest in the farm before. Later that day, I got a call from my ex-wife. She told me that Marcus had called her, upset about the situation. She accused me of favoring my other kids and not giving Marcus a fair chance. I tried to explain my reasoning, but she wouldn't listen. She hung up on me, leaving me feeling frustrated and hurt. Over the past week, I've been thinking a lot about my relationship with Marcus. It's true that I didn't spend as much time with him growing up as I did with my other kids. After the divorce, it was hard to find ways to connect with him, especially since he wasn't interested in the same things as me. I regret not trying harder, but I also know that I did the best I could given the circumstances. I've also been reflecting on my own childhood and how I came to own the farm. My father passed it down to me when he retired, just like his father did before him. It's been in our family for generations, and I always thought one of my kids would take it over someday. But times have changed, and none of them seem to want that life anymore. Yesterday, I had a long talk with Jake. He's always been the most level-headed of my kids, and I value his opinion. He told me that he understands why I need to sell the farm and that he supports my decision. He also said that he thinks Marcus is being unreasonable and that he needs to accept that things don't always go the way we plan. Hearing that from Jake gave me some peace of mind, but I still feel conflicted. I love all my kids equally, and I want to do what's best for all of them. At the same time, I need to do what's best for myself and my health. I've decided to go ahead with selling the farm, but I'm going to sit down with Marcus and have a heart-to-heart talk with him. I want him to know that even though I'm selling the farm, it doesn't mean I don't care about his dreams or his future. I'll offer to help him in any way I can, whether that means giving him money for a down payment on a property of his own, or just being there to support him as he figures out his path in life. It's not going to be an easy conversation, but I know it's one we need to have. I just hope that Marcus can understand where I'm coming from and that we can find a way to move forward together as a family. Anyway, that's where things stand now. Thanks again for all your support and advice. It really helps to know that there are people out there who understand what I'm going through. Aita for refusing to sleep in the same room as my sick family and choosing the couch. Instead, Friday night, my son went to bed at his normal time and threw up in bed. Begrudgingly, I got up and took care of things, and the rest of the night was uneventful. In the morning, we found out he threw up again overnight. I had already washed the sheets, so I put them back on the bed and threw his second set of sheets in the wash. That night, Saturday night, my younger daughter threw up in bed. Once again, I was the one that went and cleaned everything up. I went and found a bowl for her to use in case she threw up anymore. I think I emptied the bowl 4 times throughout the night. At about 1:30 a.m., my wife said she didn't feel well, so I found an old mop bucket for her and, just in case, I found a couple buckets for my son and other daughter. Needless to say, I didn't get much sleep Saturday night. All day Sunday, the 3 girls complained about how terrible they felt, and I did everything for them all day. I made specific meals for them, depending on what they had an appetite for, ran to the store 30 minutes away, and bought NyQuil, Dayquil, Pepto tablets, ginger ale, and 7-Up. My younger daughter continued to throw up periodically until I got the Pepto in her. Sunday night rolls in. I gave both my daughters NyQuil and tried to offer some to her. She said no because she doesn't want to throw it up. I offered Pepto. She said no to that because it tastes like chalk. I told her I had Pepto pills, and she declined those as well. So I'm upset already because she won't stop whining but won't take anything to help either. Then she invites the younger daughter to sleep at the foot of our bed. I'm annoyed, but I decide it's fine. I decide to cover all my bases. I make sure everyone has a bowl bucket and a towel so that I can try and get some sleep. I get up at about 11:30 to fill my water bottle before I go to bed, and I see a light in the hallway. My oldest looks at me and says, "I feel like I'm going to throw up," and proceeds to throw up all over the hallway. Now I'm pissed. Why didn't you throw up in the bucket? I gave you that bucket, showed you where it was, and told you to throw up in that if you felt like you needed to puke. You literally had to step over the bucket to get here. Why didn't you grab the bucket? She said sorry, and I said, "It's fine. Just grab the bucket next time," and went to bed. My wife got up and went to my daughter's room and said something I didn't understand, and when she came back in, my older daughter was with her. I told her she could sleep in here. Me, What the F? Why? We don't have any more room in our bed. She can sleep on the edge on your side in case she needs to throw up. Nope. F this. I'm not sleeping in a room surrounded by sick people. I'm sleeping on the couch. What the F? I grab my phone charger, CPAP, a pillow, and a blanket and leave the room. Am I the jerk for not wanting to sleep in a room surrounded by sick people? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. No idiots here. I'm so sorry because I know, and every parent here will agree, how truly rotten you feel. And none of you are jerks, though. You're just a sick family going through hell while one of you somehow escapes the worst of it, and it sucks because you're the one getting dumped on. But still, no idiots here. Just sick folk going through it, and I hope you all feel better and get back to some normalcy soon. Comment 2. Not the idiot for not sleeping in a bed with puking people. I will say stop giving all that Pepto, Dayquil, NyQuil, etc. for stomach bugs. It doesn't help with puking and can make it worse. Give them popsicles and crackers, maybe ibuprofen for body aches if they haven't puked in a while, and cover everything in towels. I don't know why kids will walk right by a bucket to puke on the floor. It's insane but common. Now, for the update. Hey everyone, it's been a rough few days since my last post. A lot has happened, so I'll try to fill you in on everything. Friday night started off pretty normal, but then my son threw up in his bed. I got up and took care of it, washing the sheets and all that. Thought that was the end of it, but in the morning, we found out he'd thrown up again overnight. So I put the clean sheets back on and washed the second set. Then Saturday night, my younger daughter got sick too. She threw up in her bed, and I was the one who cleaned it all up, got her a bowl and emptied it like 4 times throughout the night. Around 1:30 a.m., my wife said she wasn't feeling well either, so I found buckets for everyone just in case. Needless to say, I didn't get much sleep that night. Sunday was a mess. All 3 of them were complaining about feeling terrible, and I was running around taking care of everything. I made specific meals for each of them, went to the store 30 minutes away to get medicine and drinks, and just tried to keep everyone comfortable. My younger daughter kept throwing up until I got some Pepto in her. By Sunday night, I was exhausted. I gave the girls NyQuil and tried to get my wife to take something, but she refused everything. She invited our younger daughter to sleep at the foot of our bed, which annoyed me, but I let it go. I made sure everyone had a bucket and towel, hoping I could finally get some rest. But then around 11:30, as I was getting ready for bed, I found my oldest in the hallway. She said she felt like throwing up and proceeded to do just that, all over the floor. I was so frustrated. I had given her a bucket and told her to use it, but she stepped right over it to come to the hallway. I told her to grab the bucket next time and went to bed. That's when my wife got up, said something to our daughter, and brought her into our room to sleep on the edge of my side of the bed. I'd had enough at that point. I refused to sleep in a room surrounded by sick people, so I grabbed my stuff and went to sleep on the couch. My wife got upset with me, but I just couldn't take it anymore. I had been running myself ragged taking care of everyone, and I needed a break. I know they're sick and need help, but I have to take care of myself too, you know? Anyway, that's where things are at now. It's been a rough few days, and I'm just hoping everyone starts feeling better soon. Thanks for letting me vent a bit. I appreciate you all. Aita for telling my wife she's wrong to sabotage my brother's engagement. Because she's friends with his ex, my 34-year-old wife is best friends with her ex-sister-in-law, Jen, 35 years old, who was together with my wife's brother, Jack, 38 years old, for 15 years. They got to know each other when Jack introduced Jen, and she became close with my wife. I have been a part of this family for 10 years. I am very close friends with Jack. Jack and Jen have always had a turbulent relationship. I don't want to take sides, and I think both were wrong and right, and it wasn't really anyone's fault, and nobody really knows what happened behind closed doors. They have had breaks on several occasions, and I will not lie. Jen is always the instigator. I also won't lie and say that Jack is a flawed man, and Jen had a point in not being satisfied with him. Anyway, the last time she asked for a break, Jack met Amy. This time, Jack didn't want to go back to Jen. Jen became distraught and devastated. It was devastating to everyone because we all were friends. Now my wife and Jen call Amy the siren. I think it is unfair. First, because Amy is a great person. Second, because I have never seen Jack this happy. And third, because I believe Jack is family and we should welcome his soon-to-be wife into our midst. I think calling her a siren is cruel and disrespectful, not only to her but to Jack as well, implying that he was dumb enough to be hoodwinked. On the other hand, I see that Jack is a way better man with Amy than he ever was with Jen. He even admitted that he learned from his mistakes, which is unfortunate that he learned from Jen, who put up with him, to be a better man for another who just got the final draft and best version. So I get my wife's and Jen's hurt. Anyway, I told my wife to stop calling her a siren and to grow up. People move on and life is unfair. She cried and called me an Edit. Jack and Amy have been together for 2 years now, and Jack has proposed. Jack has even changed his mind about being child-free. Both Jack and Jen were child-free. Update. Yeah, so I have told my wife that the internet sided with me. Thank you guys. It backfired on me though because my wife was so angry with me. My wife said that she is Team Jen and will always be Team Jen, and that she will do everything in her power, yelling to break things between Jack and Amy. I told her that I was Team Jack because I value family, and no matter the past, Jack is a better person now. A happier person too, but that I understand that a 20-year friendship is strong. I advised her, however, not to do anything sinister to break a loving relationship because karma would bite her in the butt, and that if she really loved Jen, she should help her move on to a relationship she can actually be happy in since she wasn't happy with Jack. My wife got very angry and told me that I didn't get to decide when Jen was happy or not, that I never liked Jen. I didn't deny it, but I told her that me liking or disliking her has more to do with our personalities not vibing, and I still want her to be happy because she isn't a bad person. I told her that I will be having Jack's back. I called Jack in front of her and told him everything. Turns out he already knew about the bullying, and he said that they, Jack and Amy, basically don't care. I told Jack about my wife's threats about breaking him and Amy up. He laughed and said bring it on, but that I should warn her that if she wanted to be a part of his family, not to do stupid shit. However, they don't want an apology, nor even for my wife to stop the bullying behind their backs because they don't care, but to keep it civil when they are around. He understands that Amy will never be a close friend, but that she should be treated as a sister-in-law. Not many sisters-in-law are friends. Then Jack ended the conversation with a message to my wife, that when Jen is done using her and drops her like a hot potato, she is welcome to commiserate with him about it. This is my update. Thanks everyone. Now I need to go fix my marriage. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Info. How was the break supposed to work? Just time to cool down or an officially open relationship? For me, it really comes down to whether Jack cheated on his wife or not. Comment 2. Not the jerk. People sometimes are toxic for each other. It sounds like Jack and Jen weren't good together. Your wife should respect that. Amy did nothing wrong. Now for the update. Hey everyone, thanks for reading my previous post and for all your support. It's been a month since I last shared my story, and a lot has happened since then. After I told my wife that the internet sided with me, things took a turn for the worse. She was furious with me for sharing our personal issues online and accused me of betraying her trust. I tried to explain that I was just looking for some outside perspective, but she wouldn't listen. Instead, she doubled down on her promise to do everything in her power to break up Jack and Amy's relationship. At first, I thought she was just venting her frustrations, but I soon realized that she was dead serious. She started spending more and more time with Jen, plotting ways to sabotage Jack and Amy's upcoming wedding. I tried to reason with her, reminding her that karma has a way of coming back around, but she was too blinded by her loyalty to Jen to see the bigger picture. Things came to a head when my wife and Jen showed up at Jack and Amy's engagement party uninvited. They caused a huge scene, accusing Amy of being a homewrecker and demanding that Jack call off the wedding. I was mortified by their behavior and tried to intervene, but my wife pushed me away and told me to stay out of it. The fallout from that night was devastating. Jack and Amy were furious with my wife and Jen, and they made it clear that they wanted nothing more to do with either of them. My wife was equally angry with me for not taking her side, and our marriage has been on the rocks ever since. Looking back, I realized that there were warning signs that I should have paid more attention to. My wife has always been fiercely loyal to her friends, sometimes to a fault. I remember one time years ago when she got into a huge fight with her best friend from college over a guy they both liked. My wife refused to speak to her for months, even though it was clear that the guy was just stringing them both along. I also realize now that my wife's friendship with Jen was never as healthy as I thought it was. They always seemed to bring out the worst in each other, feeding off each other's anger and resentment towards Jack. I should have seen it sooner, but I was too focused on trying to keep the peace and maintain my own friendship with Jack. Now I'm left picking up the pieces of my shattered marriage and trying to figure out where to go from here. My wife is still refusing to speak to me, and I'm starting to wonder if our relationship is beyond repair. I love her deeply, but I can't condone her actions or the way she's treated Jack and Amy. As for Jack and Amy, they've made it clear that they want nothing more to do with my wife or Jen. I can't say I blame them, but it still hurts to know that my own actions played a role in driving a wedge between our families. I don't know what the future holds, but I do know that I need to start putting my own needs and values first. I can't keep trying to please everyone at the expense of my own happiness and well-being. It's going to be a long and difficult road ahead, but I'm determined to find a way forward, with or without my wife by my side. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks again for listening and for all your support. It means more to me than you know. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.